The busy lunch hour had finally passed, leaving the little roadside diner wrapped in a rare calm. The chatter of customers faded, until only the soft clinks of dishes remained. Warm golden sunlight streamed through the big front windows, scattering dust motes that danced like tiny stars in the still air. It felt like an ordinary afternoon. But for one woman, Clara Munro, a devoted single mother with wary eyes and a gentle smile, this day would become the turning point of her life. A choice she made in just a few fleeting minutes would cost her everything she thought she depended on, only to return more than she had ever dared to hope for. Before we step into this remarkable journey of kindness, courage, and second chances, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Talks. If you believe the world needs more compassion, your support helps spread these heartfelt stories to people who need encouragement most. The diner itself wasn't much to look at. The floors were scuffed from years of footsteps. The red leather booths showed their age, patched here and there with tape. And the coffee, strong enough to wake any road-weary traveler, was always brewing. But for Clara, this small place wasn't just a job. It was her lifeline. Since the day her husband walked out, Clara had shouldered every burden alone, working endless shifts and raising her 10-year-old son Micah. Every dollar mattered. Every tip meant a meal on the table. Every paycheck meant the lights stayed on just a little longer. That afternoon, the familiar jingle of the diner's doorbell broke the silence. Heads turned as a group strode inside. The Hells Angels. Leather jackets, heavy boots, tattoos that whispered stories of rough roads and battles survived. The air shifted instantly. Conversations hushed. Some customers stared, others quickly looked away. At the counter, the manager, Mr. Peterson, stiffened with unease. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Don't serve them," one man muttered. Another tossed some coins on the counter and rushed out. Clara's heart raced. She had heard the rumors about bikers like these, wild, dangerous, untouchable. But when she looked closer, she noticed something others ignored. They weren't sneering or picking fights. They looked wary, hungry, even respectful. One man even pulled out a chair for an older member with care. While the rest of the staff froze in fear, Clara tied her apron, steadied her trembling hands, and walked toward them. She forced a warm smile. "What can I get you all today?" she asked softly. To her surprise, they answered politely. They said please and thank you. They cracked light-hearted jokes. One even admired the pie in the glass case. Clara treated them the way she treated everyone else, with kindness and sincerity. She slipped them extra bread without charging, refilled their coffees before they could ask, and served them as though they were old friends rather than feared strangers. But her small acts of kindness did not go unnoticed. From behind the counter, Mr. Peterson's face reddened with anger. He yanked Clara aside, whispering sharply, "What are you doing? Do you know who they are?" "You'll drive away our customers!" "This diner has a reputation." Clara tried to explain. They were polite. They deserved respect like anyone else. But Peterson would not listen. When the bikers finally left, they quietly placed a generous tip on the table. More than Clara usually made in a whole shift. Yet despite that, her fate was sealed. That evening, as the last chairs were stacked on tables, Mr. Peterson handed her a thin envelope. "You're done here," he said coldly. "I can't keep someone who disobeys orders and risks this diner's name. You're fired." Clara stood frozen. Fired for being kind. For doing her job with a human heart. She tried to plead, but he turned away. The walk home felt endless. Each step echoed the fear in her mind. What will I tell Micah? How will we survive? That night, Clara tucked her son into bed, masking her despair with a brave smile. She gave him cereal with the last of the milk the next morning, promising she would figure something out. Inside though, her hope was fading. Who would hire a woman dismissed for such a reason? But fate had something else in store. By noon, a deep rumble shook the quiet street outside her small apartment. Curious neighbors peeked through curtains. Clara stepped onto her porch, and her heart nearly stopped. A long row of motorcycles lined the block, chrome gleaming in the sunlight. At the front stood the very same group she had served the day before. Panic flickered for a moment, until she noticed what they carried. One held a bouquet of wildflowers. Another carried heavy grocery bags filled with fresh food. Their leader, a tall man with weathered features named Hawk, stepped forward. His voice was steady but gentle as he spoke. "We heard what happened. You lost your job because you treated us like people. That ain't right. Kindness should never cost you everything." One by one, the bikers placed bags of food on her porch. Vegetables, canned goods, even a box of school supplies for Micah. Hawk handed her an envelope thick with bills. Far more than months of waitressing could ever provide. Clara's eyes filled with tears. "Why? Why are you doing this?" she whispered. Hawk looked at her firmly. "Because yesterday, when no one else would, you showed us respect. You saw us as men, not monsters. A heart like that deserves protection." A word spread quickly. Neighbors talked. Then local news picked it up. Waitress fired for serving bikers. Then bikers returned to save her. Messages poured in. Job offers, donations, letters of encouragement. Clara soon realized her small act of kindness had grown into a ripple that touched far beyond her little diner. Eventually, she found work at a family-owned cafe where kindness was welcomed, not punished. Customers came not only for food, but to meet the woman who had once served the Hells Angels, with nothing but a smile. And every night, when she tucked Micah into bed, she reminded him of the truth she had learned the hard way. No matter what the world says, kindness is never wasted. Sometimes, it just takes time for it to come back to you. If this story of courage, compassion, and unexpected friendship touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Talks. Help us continue spreading stories that prove kindness can change the world.